Nigeria's electricity industry has got a long history. From back in the days when it was popularly called NEPA, that is, National Electric Power Authority, to the unbundling into 14 companies and then referred to as PHCN, Power Holding Company of Nigeria, up until now when it has clearly become largely private sector driven. The challenge has always been more people to less power. As the Minister of Power, Works and Housing continues to tackle the problems, the lingering challenge of metering has remained daunting, which may have informed his visit to this meter testing station in Lagos.
Metering is not like the telephone where you just buy and you connect with your SIM card. It's a much more complicated equipment, and you saw the gentleman Ebudage showing how lines wiring should be done.
Every meter to be used in Nigeria, whether already installed or yet to find a home, is meant to go through this facility for a durability test.
The type test is that we are going to check the electrical property, the mechanical property, the insulation property, environmental compatibility. It's not that somebody is bringing a meter off the shelf from any part of Europe or Asia and that the temperature there is not compatible with us, that it can be used. And then accuracy, compatibility, accuracy check. Once this has been done, it goes through a climatic chamber to determine the durability, the humidity. Then it goes through the glow wire to ensure that that the materials they have used will actually stand the resistance of the current that is passing through.
Beyond the checks, however, the worry of most households is the availability of the meter, tested or not. How can these happen more rapidly?
Metering is a big issue. It's an issue that we hope to address more vigorously this year with regulations, open up the business to many more people so that we also relieve the pressure on discos so that they can concentrate on their core business, which is to transport energy. Their core business is not to supply meters.
From the 50s, Nigeria has had to depend on countries around the world for meters manufacture. Today, some entrepreneurs produce that locally. That in itself should provide the springboard for a more massive rollout of meters if the authorities get it right. Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
We've got Arthur Osiagu, who is an electrical engineer and also the managing director of CS Tech Limited. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you so much.
Well, we have heard the minister there talk about metering and how they like the discourse to concentrate on their core functions, because I know if we do tweets now, ask how many people are still on estimated billing, it will be huge. But isn't that the way to go?
I think we need to be very careful so that we don't progress in error. Now, the responsibility of the DISCO is to transport power and as well meter what they have given to the consumers. You see, take, for example, the telecommunication sector. If you want to recharge your phone, it is the responsibility of the company that is providing that service. In fact, that is the cash cow. You cannot provide electricity and give the responsibility of metering to another company.
But you heard his direct statement about
we mustn't really...
that metering is not the same thing as the telecommunication system.
Metering is not rocket science, for God's sake. We must not progress in
and by the
error.
that is what part of what CS Tech does.
Of course. You see, when we go this way, I can assure you, in the next 10 years, we'll still be talking about metering concerns and metering gap.
But do you think that the DISCOs have that capacity, because that's the major fear of the minister as he, in his submission, to help them, that's what, to help them meet this demand, which they originally supposed to be doing. Don't you think that the DISCOs need that level of support from the government to try to, kickstart, because we're deficient, heavily deficient on metering?
Gimba, I disagree completely. You see, we should allow the DISCOs to do their job. We should allow the DISCOs to sell this power and also collect revenue. You cannot sell power and allow another agency to collect revenue for you. It's not going to work.
Okay.
We're still going to be in this problem if we don't tackle it properly.
Sorry to jump in again, but let me understand your point, your thrust. Is the minister right or wrong when he says metering is not the core responsibility of discos?
I was taken aback. Well, if I was told, it will be my own idea that probably the minister was quoted out of context. But I saw him on set say this. I don't believe we are pursuing this issue the right way.
So wait, you think that metering is their core responsibility?
It's the core responsibility
How?
of those who are providing service. I just gave you a very simple example. If you buy a recharge card, whose responsibility? Where is the money going to? The money is going to the company that is providing you the service. You see, it is not...
That's different from if I buy a phone. If I buy a phone, if I recharge, the money goes to them. They don't have to supply me the phone, do they?
It's a medium.
Yeah, it is, but they don't have to supply me. They can, but they don't have to.
Or is the meter not a medium?
No, it's a different thing.
Tell us.
It's a different thing. The reason is this. The metering, if you look at from 1950s, the metering has been the property of the municipal authority that is giving you the power supply all over the world. So if I'm buying electricity from you, it is your responsibility to meter what I'm consuming.
The 1950s
so it's just like you saying that the flow meters, the check meters and the flow meters for the water corporation does not belong.
No, I'm sorry. The time you're referring to, at that time, the discos were not in existence at that time. So having changed the system now, isn't that what he's also referring to? That, well, he's trying to encourage bringing more meter manufacturers who perhaps, I think they said they will be local here, to enable consumers have access to meters. Because don't forget the problem here, estimated billing, which is a huge problem.
It's not going to work. As I said, you'll still be in this kettle of fish for the next 20 years. In as much as government is not allowing discos to run their business as a private enterprise, we're going to have this huge problem. Don't forget, it's been liberalized, and the discos have controlling equity in the business. So they should be allowed to do their business.